Hello and welcome to the Run.Down. I'm your host, Shwinny Poo, and I'm joined by Prez. No, this is not Pod Strickland. This is the Run.Down. And the Knicks managed to lose a game that they had no business losing, 138 to 135 in overtime. Probably the worst loss they've had since, I would like to say since forever, but, you can catalog some of the horrible losses. But this takes the cake for me since probably, I don't know.
Definitely since I was a kid.
Yeah,
I don't
probably
think
since
anything in the past Mello or Julius eras touches this.
yeah, this is probably as bad. This is probably as bad. Probably the worst loss they've had since the Reggie Miller choke game 5 in the 1994 Eastern Conference Finals. The good news is they came back and won that series. That's all the good news I have for you tonight. That's it. So that's it. I'm just gonna start. I thought OG and Josh Hart were fucking awful. Like down the stretch. But first of all, I didn't think OG was very good at all, save like one decent stretch he had in the fourth quarter. I actually thought Hart was okay for most of the game. Actually, really good to start it at various points. And then the second half, he was kind of like, whatever. But down the stretch, both of them were fucking diabolical defensively. Absolutely diabolical. Some of the shit they were doing. OG, they're switching. They're clearly trying to switch everything down the stretch. He's just 5 feet in the fucking paint, letting Nesmith come wide open for threes. Okay. All right, fine. Still, 5-point game, 123, 118. You call a timeout. All you need to do, take care of the ball, either get a good shot or get fouled. That's it. That's all you got to do, right? And the Knicks drop a play. Brunson gets the inbound. I think it was Nembhard that was on him. He slips. Pascal Siakam comes over to Brunson. Brunson throws a perfect pass to OG Anunoby, who's wide open under the rim. And he fumbles it. He fucking fumbles it. Ball goes up in the air. They call a foul that gets overturned. I think that was actually a wrong overturn. I also don't give a fuck. I really don't give a shit about the officiating tonight. And anybody crying about the officiating can fuck off. The Knicks had no business losing this game unless Zach Zarba got on the floor and started punching everybody on the team in the fucking nuts, which didn't happen. So fuck that. I'm not going to talk about the officiating tonight. Any Knicks fan that's crying about the officiating after this game, yes, I know they missed a goaltend in overtime. Fuck off. Give me a break. So OG fumbles this fucking pass because he played like shit the entire night. They come down. Okay, still 5-point lead, 29.9 seconds left or whatever, right? Just make sure you give up twos. Don't give up a three. None of that. What happens? Josh Hart comes on. They have him on Nesmith now. For God knows for what reason. Your most brain dead off ball player in a lot of defensively. You have him on the best shooter on the fucking floor who hasn't missed a shot and is basically Ray Allen at this point in the game. He just fucking dies on a screen, doesn't get over it. Like, you should be top locking him there. That's all, because a back cut for a layup, that's fine. You're still up 3 then. You're still up 3, and you have the ball. Maybe they play defense. Maybe they're not going to turn into a free throw shooting game. Because God knows if they turn into a free throw shooting game, the Knicks would just stand around and fucking miss free throws like they did down the stretch today. So Josh Hart dies on the screen, slips. I'm fucking amazed that he didn't commit the cardinal sin and, tackle Nesmith as well and foul him and give up a 4-point play. Nesmith hits that 3. Then Cat misses a free throw after he gets fouled. I mean, miracle, by the way, that they were able to succeed on this inbounds pass that they had at various points. Cat splits a pair. They come down. They hit a 3. Or sorry, they hit a 2. They got a 2 in that one. And then they commit another foul. And OG, because he hadn't done enough stupid shit in this game, he missed he missed the front end of the free throws. So now it's a 2-point lead. And yes, you get unlucky. Halliburton makes a fucking shot that hits the back of the heel of the fucking rim, bounces so high in the air that you don't see where the fucking ball is, and it drops in. Fortunately for the Knicks, okay, it's a 2. We're going to overtime. I don't even know what to say about overtime. It was just their defense was atrocious. Yes, they missed a goaltend. Okay, I really don't know what to say. And also at some point, the starters are not good, man. It's not a good lineup. They fucking managed. They contrived to blow a 15-point lead in what, like fucking 5 minutes or whatever the hell it was? Less than that, probably. I can't tell you. I remember the exact times that. That as soon as the starters, he put the starters.
There were three instances of like deviating from the starters or deviating back to the starters that immediately drastically changed the game. The first one was the first quarter where the starters came out tied, or I forget if it was the end of the first or beginning of the second, and then Knicks immediately went on a run. That's when Mitch went crazy to start. And then it was a little different scenario, but when Brunson got the late foul and the Knicks went on like a 10-0, 12-0 run, whatever. And then you have the opposite, which is late in the fourth where you have the lead and the starters come in and just piss it away. And, you know, it's one of those things where like Hart and OG were playing terrible. OG in particular, aside from the shot making stretch in the fourth, like you said, like those were big shots, but like the guy was falling over. The guy couldn't dribble. And then most inexcusably, he was just like assuming the Pacers would, you know, miss eventually, which you can't do in the fucking playoffs in the conference finals. So like anyway, that's a whole long way of saying like, yeah, the players, like they fucked up and all of that. But at the same time, like, dog, we know how this lineup doesn't work.
This lineup doesn't work.
That's it. It doesn't work. And it certainly doesn't work in crunch time and overtime. And you know why? Because the only time this lineup works is when there's more transition for the Knicks and when the spirit of God takes over and Tibbs and Josh Hart decide to do off-ball screening actions. And those things are far more less likely when the game is on the line. So they're actually going to be worse with the game on the line.
Also, I forgot. OG did another fucking ridiculous thing in overtime. They missed a shot. I don't remember who shot it. He just didn't put a body on Siakam at all. Just didn't put a body on him. Siakam gets an offensive rebound, puts it back. I cannot express how fucking awful OG Anunoby was tonight. Like, full stop. He had a 2-minute stretch in the fourth quarter that was good, and that was about it. He was fucking awful tonight. Like, terrible. Like, defensively, you know, the end game stuff was obviously terrible. I thought in the first half, you know, I'm not going to sit here and tell you his entire game defensively was awful, but it certainly wasn't some like, holy shit, OG, what a fucking performance. Like, this was not some defensive masterclass by him or anything. Not nearly good enough to make up for some of the stupid shit.
His defense was fine in the first half, and then they started screening him off of Siakam, and it was nondescript for the rest of the game.
And I don't even know what to say. Like, I thought he played selfishly. Like, I thought offensively, he was so fucking selfish tonight. One of the first possessions of the game where he gets the ball, he's in the fucking corner, and he tries to take, like, I don't know, who was it? Siakam off the bounce, and he just Siakam easily pokes it away, and it's just like, this was the shit he did all night. He had one play. This actually really pissed me off at the time. It was the first half. Cat drives. He throws a like little fancy, probably unnecessary behind the back, or not even behind the back, but no look pass. Tosses it behind him to OG, who again fumbles the ball, fucking nearly collapses. Somehow manages to like grab the ball as it goes across to the other side of the floor. I think he threw it. I think that's the one where Halliburton knocked it, and then it went out of bounds, and John Hamm grabbed the ball or whatever. But like. And then he started like, he was like yelling, he was like getting mad at Cat. And I'm like, why don't you catch the fucking ball, dude? Like, yeah, maybe Cat didn't need to make this unnecessary pass that like too fancy or whatever. You know what else you could just do is just catch the fucking ball. Apparently, that's something that he's not capable of tonight, or wasn't capable of tonight, because he just didn't grab the ball at any point. And yeah, Josh Hart, look, like, I love the guy. He's great. He's awesome. But he is always going to have stretches and moments and games like this where you have no idea what he's doing on defense. Actually, he got really lucky on another play in the fourth quarter where he crashed down off of Ben Shepherd, who was wide open in the corner. He missed front running the three. But, like, he was doing this shit all game long. Like, he was just not there defensively at all. And it sucks because, like, you wasted a game where Jalen Brunson, 43 points on 25 shots. Karl-Anthony Towns, 35 points on 17 shots. You got really good contributions from the bench. Cam Payne made 2 fucking threes. Deuce McBride, plus 12 in 25 minutes tonight. And you wasted all that. Mitchell Robinson, first quarter, amazing. Turned the game around. And Tibbs, I thought he coached a really good game for like the first, 43 minutes. And then he just decided the starters have to come back in, and that's that. They had multiple timeouts, multiple stoppages of play where he either needed to make a sub or he needed to make it very fucking clear that we are switching everything and you cannot leave Aaron Nesmith wide open no matter what. And that obviously failed to happen. If he did do it, the message didn't get across. I have no idea. I will never understand what the fuck OG was doing on defense at the end down the stretch of this game. Literally multiple possessions where he's just standing 5 feet into the paint, watching Nesmith come off screens and like not really doing anything. The first possession of the game, OG Anunoby, go watch that one back. That's a doozy. I don't know what he was doing. I don't think they were switching because they played drop a lot of the night. I don't think he was supposed to switch there. He just switches onto Turner, and Nembhard gets the fucking most wide open, easiest three you could ever fucking dream of to start off a playoff game. Yeah, he was a disaster. He was a disaster tonight. He should be getting... I don't want to see any criticism of fucking literally anybody other than OG Anunoby, Josh Hart. And if you want to throw Tibbs in there for whatever the fuck that last 5 minutes was, go for it. But I thought those two were... I thought they basically... I don't even know how to say it. Like, I felt like they betrayed the team with how they performed. Like, that was unbelievable. It was like, I understand you're up 15. You're kind of like, all right, the game's over. Like, whatever. Like, okay, maybe 1 possession, 2 possessions even. You're kind of like not really locked in on defense. Nesmith gets open for a couple threes. It's like, okay, all right, let's lock in here. Let's get it going. Didn't happen. They just kept fucking letting Nesmith walk into threes. And yeah, I get it. Yeah, he's probably not going to hit what did he shoot? 8 of 9 from 3 tonight. He's probably not going to make 6 threes again in a quarter and score 20 in a quarter or whatnot. But you can't, like, you let it happen. Like, you just watched it happen, and both of these guys just did nothing, and Tibbs didn't pull either of them from the game. And, okay, like, all I will say is this. You saw at the end of overtime, he took Cat out of the game. Cat didn't close the last couple possessions, right? Or not the last possession, because I was on the floor for that, missed front rim the 3. But he wasn't on the floor for an offensive possession and a defensive possession prior to that. And all I will say is I don't have a problem with that, because I understand that situationally, sometimes you're going to make that call. Situationally, sometimes you need to be able to look at Josh Hart and be like, you're playing a fucking jackass. I'm taking you out of the game because I don't trust you right now because you're doing stupid fucking shit. You need to be able to look at OG Anunoby, especially on a night like tonight, where he just didn't have it. He just did not have it at any point in the game, other than like those 2 possessions we talked about in the fourth. Other than that, he was terrible. You need to be able to be like, hey, you know what? You don't have it tonight. I'm leaving Deuce in. Because Deuce
or
is
if
great.
you're worried about like the size stuff, just go double bigs. It was working really well. Just go double bigs, Deuce, Jalen, and Cal, and you'd be fine. Like, they can still switch. Cat, when he finally stopped going into drop coverage unnecessarily, was much better. They hit some shots over him, just like the Celtics, but he also got some big stops in the fourth switching. And we know that like securing the ball and switching everything was the move, but those were not, like, for somebody, it's crazy. Like, for a coach who prioritizes ball security quite a lot, like, this guy is not the one you want catching or making passes with the clock winding down when you're playing prevent. You know you don't. And then that's on offense. And then on the other end with Hart, like you said, he's just not good off ball. I was watching our contributor, Bailey Liao, shout out to him. was on Knicks Fan TV. They did a X's and O's kind of preview thing, and at some point in there, he was talking about CP asked him, how you would approach matchups and stuff like that, and he was like, "Yeah, Mikhal's going to get a lot of time on Halliburton. I will put Josh Hart on Halliburton a lot." And the reason he said he would put Josh Hart on Halliburton a lot is because he said, this is almost word for word what Bailey said, is the Pacers are the one team that you can't fall asleep off ball on, and Josh Hart only locks in on the ball and when he's chasing after a loose ball. And you saw that shit today, right? In overtime, literally just ball watching on that Nembhard cut. Just watching. Just the same thing we were doing. It was the same thing we were doing. Like just watching Jalen and Hallie and Nembhard literally uncontested to the rim. And you could see Josh Hart oh fuck, after it. And it's like, dude, you have one job. You have one job. He's literally their third best player. Their third best player on offense. Completely inexcusable. And we were saying for Tibbs, especially on defense, situational, you can't situationally replace Cat and then be so oblivious as to not situationally include Deuce
anybody, literally anybody.
Yeah.
You cannot,
especially those two.
You can bench guys. You don't need to close with the fucking 5 starters. It's crazy to me. Mikhal can get benched. Cat can get benched. Brunson can be benched situationally. These 3 guys, but fucking God forbid Josh Hart ever comes out of the game when he's playing like a jackass. This is literally all of the fucking micro criticisms we had of Tibbs. And quite honestly, even within blaming him here, I think
I'm not even trying to blame him the most.
It's way more. It's way more on the players. So I'm not gonna sit here and be like Tibbs lost us this game.
Even if you're in the game in the fourth quarter of the conference finals, lock the fuck in, dude.
And it's just, but this is what all of the criticism that he's faced about his rotations and his lineups and all. This is what it is about, really, because it's hey, fine, you don't want to change your starting lineup because whatever fucking reasons, fine, go ahead. I don't care. But you have to understand that there are nights where not even it's pretty consistent at this point, but you just need to be able to look at Josh Hart and be like, hey, you don't have it tonight. I'm closing with somebody else. I don't see how that's a crisis. If you can do that, if you can look at Karl-Anthony Towns and be like, hey, I don't want you on the floor here because we need to get a defensive stop. You can't do that to Josh Hart. Hey, we need a defensive stop, and you're sitting here fucking playing with your fucking ass while digging, fucking picking your ass while Nembhard's cutting to the basket. Or you're fucking not paying attention as Nesmith comes around a fucking pin down for a wide open 3 at the top of the key. It's nuts. It's fucking nuts. I don't understand I understand the loyalty to these players, right? I understand that that's kind of part of coaching, but I don't understand the loyalty to guys as they're actively hurting you. It just doesn't make any sense. And especially when you have better options, like you mentioned on the bench, Deuce McBride played a better game than Josh Hart. I don't care what the fucking box score numbers look like. There's no way you're going to convince me Josh Hart outplayed Deuce McBride.
End of the game, you want screeners, shooters, defenders. It's very simple. The Josh Hart shit, I get it, and even you can triangulate how it works, especially with the offensive rebounding and all that. All that shit is all well and good, but when you're talking quick hitters, you need screeners, shooters, and defenders. That's what it is. You need guys who can get the ball, hit free throws, set screens, all that shit.
And also, talk about screening. But I forgot the combination fucking OG and Hart play in overtime. That was fucking amazingly stupid. Out of a timeout, they run that fucking baseline play for Brunson where he runs from one corner to the other, try to set him up for a corner 3. Go watch Josh Hart's screen on Andrew Nembhard on that play. Basically, doesn't touch him. Sets a pretty shitty screen, effectively. Nembhard's able to shoot the fucking passing lane. OG has the ball. He doesn't need to make this pass. He doesn't need to. Like, there's more than enough time to be like, oh, the pass isn't there. Let me hold on to this. Brunson will come up and get it from you. But no, he throws the pass. Nembhard gets a finger on it, deflects off Brunson, their ball. And like, again, and then you have the play out of that timeout, 136, 135. You played, like, it's 20 seconds left in overtime. You probably should be fouling here. Almost definitely should be fouling. Not probably, you have to be fouling there. I don't know what the hell the Knicks talked about in that timeout. They did not look together at all. They had no fucking clue what was going on. Obi gets a wide open dunk. And again, for all the people bitching about the officiating, I don't know if anybody's doing that here, but I've seen a lot of Knicks fans complaining about the officiating. You want to know something? I don't want to hear it, because Obi Toppin on this dunk gets fucking smacked across the arm by Mikal Bridges. They didn't call it.
Mikal fouled him twice. He got him on the arm and he pulled his jersey.
Yeah. So like, this was your defense out of the timeout. I don't know what the hell was discussed in the timeout. I don't know who's responsible.
Deuce and Mitch did not know what the coverage was. I think this is an assumption, but like, judging from Mitch's reaction there, it looked like he botched it.
Yeah, it might have been. And honestly, I think Mitch was fucking gassed in overtime. That's what it looked like to me. He just looked like he didn't have any of the same pop or energy that he had in the first half and in the second half when he came in. So yeah, look, the double big thing, maybe he just didn't have the gas, and that's why Tibbs didn't want to go back to that down the stretch or whatever. I'll just say, when he made the subs to bring Brunson, and I think it was Mikal back in, so basically close the starting lineup, I think that's when I tweeted, like, hey, this Pacers team has made a lot of insane comebacks. Don't fuck around. Yep. And that's exactly what they did. They fucked around. And I believe it was 116-102. Brunson split a pair of free throws. So they close on a 27-9 run or something like that. Whatever the hell. I can't even do the math right now. I don't give a shit. 23-9 run. There you go. To tie the game. There's nothing to say. Like, I can sit here and talk about the X's and O's and what, like, yeah, like, Tibbs fucked up. Sure, whatever. Your best players need to be able to execute basic shit. Like, understand the time and fucking score here. Like, the only fucking way Indiana's coming back into the game, literally the only way, is if one, they start hitting threes, and two, you start conceding threes. So what do the Knicks do? They all of a sudden just decided, okay, let's all, like, OG and Hart, well, let's just not do anything. Like, I'm sorry. Like, yeah, I get it. You want to sit here and blame Tibbs or whatever, that's fine. God knows I've blamed him for plenty of things in my life. Not my life, but in my life as a Knicks fan. But I'm sorry. I think, like, the fucking $212 million man, OG Anunoby, and Mr. Josh Hart, who, can't ever take Josh out of the game because he never wants to come out. Yeah, I'm looking at both those guys, because I look, obviously, players on the team, coaches, they're never going to single anybody out after a game or at any point. But I'm not on the team, and I feel very comfortable singling those guys out. I thought their play tonight was fucking disgraceful, and especially down the stretch of that fourth quarter, just awful. Like, it's kind of funny. You could actually argue that Brunson picking up his fifth foul was probably, like, the best thing that happened to the Knicks in that fourth quarter. Because then he put in, like, this all defense lineup that really fucking locked it up for a while, manufactured some points. But yeah, I mean, and then you look at the fucking missed free throws. OG missed one. Cat missed one. I think Brunson missed one in the fourth quarter. Deuce missed one in the fourth quarter.
OG was, I mean, like, Cat and OG especially got rattled there, man. Like, OG, I think both, maybe I'm wrong, but I think both the play where he went up, fumbled the ball, and got blocked, fouled, whatever, by Siakam, and then the play where he passed to Brunson and Nembhard got the deflection and Brunson hit it out of bounds. I think part of that shit is, like, I'm not trying to shoot right now. I'm not trying to shoot these free throws. I'm not. I like, as soon as he went to the line, I was like, he's gonna miss one. Cat the same. Normally, Cat was ice. He was 9 of 10 from the line. But you could tell like every player has like a rhythm on their free throws. He took a couple extra breaths after making the first one. I was like, this is missing. This is gonna miss back of the rim. And that's exactly what happened. And this is why you can't like. I mean, this is like a basketball cliche at this point, but this whole game was like all the cliches of what not to do, right? Like we're talking about the fourth quarter, but this is why you like fuck around less earlier, right? Like Macau 0 of 2 from the line, right? Like the play where OG was on the fast break and got a fucking flat tire and just completely like whatever and just like botched the layup. Like you can't against an offense this good. Like you had kept the offense in check, right? Like they were below 110 points with a couple minutes to go, despite Knicks mistakes. And the Knicks managed to stop them from going on a heater despite Knicks mistakes. They changed schemes as the game went on to be a little bit smarter, which helped instead of, for God knows what reason, deciding to experiment and drop for the first quarter for, I guess, fucking old time's sake. And then predictably Tibbs ditched it. I don't know why he needed a quarter of experimentation there to, actually more than a quarter. It was like a quarter and a half of experimentation to see if Tyrese fucking Halliburton was good versus drop or not. Obviously he's good versus drop, versus cat drop at least. But you can't, like, if you're a player, like you gotta hit the gimmies, you gotta hit the free throws. If you're a coach, you can't get cute with that shit and be like, oh well, maybe they're in drop, da da da. And this is with like Carlisle handing you some advantages, right? Like Turner wasn't on Hart. Turner was on Cat. This guy Carlisle had some. We got fucking crunch time Ben Shepherd minutes. He didn't have to do that for the Knicks.
He was literally punting the game. That's why he was punting the game. He was done. He was like, okay, I'm gonna throw these guys out there. If they make a run, so be it. Whatever. He played 5 out. He had fucking Bradley in the game.
Thomas Bryant was a minus 11 in 12 minutes.
I can't express, like, they played not a perfect game. Obviously,
their bench hit 0 threes. The Pacers.
But the Knicks played not a perfect game, but a very good game for 43 minutes. For 43 minutes, look, you exchange some punches, you take, you got to take hits, and then you pull away. And for 43 minutes, they were there. They were, obviously in the game, more than in the game by the end of it. And they did all the things that you kind of need them to do to win the games, right? Okay, the starters weren't great, but they held serve enough in both halves, so you're okay there. They absolutely destroyed the Pacers every single time Miles Turner went to the bench. Tibbs mixed up the lineups really well in the first half, I thought. He saved the double big for the second half. That paid that reaped some dividends. Like, it was good. It was not perfect. It was not, this was not like game 6 against the Celtics, but this was good. This was a good performance against a good Indiana team that you needed to take care of business against. They played well, and for 43 minutes, and then they shit the bed. And there's no 2 ways about it. There's nothing else to say other than that. And the reason why this loss is so fucking awful, losing game 1 of the series isn't really like, I mean, you can lose game 1 and win the series, right? It's not like, oh, the series is over now. But I think this is a very, very hard loss to overcome, because you kind of had everything go for you, or most things went for you in ways that, like, if I read off this box score to you and I tell you that you took 40 free throws, you got 13 offensive rebounds on 46 missed shots, you won the rebounding battle, you had 7 steals in this game. Obviously, look, Brunson, Cat, monster games. Bridges has 16 points. OG somehow managed to have 16 points. I don't remember any of them. Not in the fourth quarter. Not after that little stretch in the fourth quarter. Josh Hart had 8, 7, and 13. Deuce McBride, great impact off the bench. Mitchell Robinson, great impact off the bench. Cam fucking Payne hits 2 threes. Like you said, Miles Turner, he finished with 14 points. He was -3 in 31 minutes. TJ McConnell -14. Ben Mathurin -14. Thomas Bryant -11. Halliburton had a nice 31-point game, 31 and 11, but I didn't feel like he was particularly dominant.
No, he picked this. He did the Halliburton thing of like he really pressed when the Knicks made like dramatic mistakes. When the Knicks were doing what they were supposed to do, like switching appropriately and stuff like that, he didn't really do anything. When they botched the coverage off ball, he would hit guys off ball. When they went to drop for no reason, he was like, that's food for him. You can rack up a lot of points by just doing the right thing, even if he didn't call his number that much. That's what he did. If we had just fucking defended this stupid fucking Aaron Neesmith, man, then like it would have been an ideal Halliburton game, really, from the Knicks' perspective, which is like he's gonna get you when you make mistakes, but he's not gonna call his own number, right? Like at the end of the game, part of it was the Knicks face guarding a little bit, but you could tell Carlisle made an active decision to let Nembhard initiate. He was bringing the ball up. He was the one starting the sets. Part of that is Hallie's great off-ball shooter in his own right, especially compared to Nembhard, right? So there was like some tactical reason for this, but like the Knicks just fucking finished their breakfast, man. They would have. It's the exact kind of thing. Like Halliburton gets his points, but whatever, they lose.
Here's a great stat for tonight. The starting lineup tonight played 25 minutes and 50 seconds. They had a 119.6 offensive rating. Pretty good. Very good even. Excellent even. 167.4 defensive rating. 25 minutes, 50 seconds of a 53-minute game with your starters, and you get fucking smoked in those minutes. They got outscored 61-77.
7 threes, I think the starters gave up, or 6 in the fourth quarter.
Who knows?
Because Nesmith hit 5, or no, the Tally's thing was a 2, not a 3.
And also the Knicks didn't really like. I know both these teams kind of have similar shot profiles defensively, but the Knicks took
7 threes. They gave up 7 threes in the fourth quarter, and then Hallie's 2.
Yeah, and the Knicks took 34 threes. Pacers took 37. I can't. There's so many plays in this game from OG that I'm just remembering now. Think about it. That fucking blown dunk layup thing in transition that he had in the first half. I don't know what the hell that was. I can't. I mean, he had the play on Siakam on defense where Josh Hart gets switched on to him. Pascal's trying to back him down. He actually doesn't get good position. He's like about to take a fadeaway, probably like 13, 14, 15 feet out, something like that. OG comes over for absolutely no reason, leaves Nembhard wide open under the rim for a layup. Like, I can't. It's like it was like he was on a mission to find doing the Doctor Strange. Like, oh, I figured out the one way that we can lose this game. It requires me to be a fucking idiot. Like, I have no idea what the hell was going on with him today. Honestly, like I even struggle to put Josh Hart in the same exact bucket tonight as him.
No, I don't think Hart played as poorly as OG. OG
was terrible. OG was terrible, and we got to be honest about this. This is just a fact. All right, I'm sorry. I understand how great his defense has been at various points. I understand how great his defense was against Boston. I think he was vital to them winning that series. If Mikal Bridges was playing the way OG Anunoby has through the first 13 games of the playoffs, even including some of the great defense, If Mikal Bridges was playing the way OG Anunoby was, his offensive output, everything, he'd be getting fucking slaughtered. He'd be getting slaughtered. OG Anunoby coming into tonight, this is what his numbers are in the playoffs, okay? I'm going to read them to you. Because I looked it up today and I was like, wow, that's pretty fucking awful. He's playing 40 minutes a night. He's giving you 16 points. Okay, not bad. 5 rebounds, 1.3 assists to 1.8 turnovers. Here are his shooting splits from the field. 39.6% from the field, 36.3% from 3. He's shooting 42.9% on twos. 42.9% on twos. He's got
I got a worse one for you.
He's got a 52.8 true shooting, which definitely went down after tonight. And he has a 48.5 effective field goal percentage. Now, I'm not saying Mikal Bridges has been some fucking amazing offensive player in this playoffs. God knows that he hasn't. But he's made so many big plays and come up with big buckets, had huge stretches in the fourth quarter when they needed them. OG Anunoby has, I think you can just say this in some ways, I think he has been covered up for in a lot of the ways he's struggling offensively. And I'm okay with struggling offensively. That doesn't bother me that much. You know, I've talked about this all the time. This is why I was like, I'm not interested in.
It's okay if you're missing good shots. It's process.
If you miss good shots and whatever, like he missed an open 3, he missed a couple open 3s in the fourth quarter. But I'm like, all right, they're open 3s. I mean, what the fuck's it? What? Of course, I want him to take those 3s. Okay, you missed them. It happens. Some of the fucking decision making when he's on the ball. He had one play today where he's on the fast break in the first half. He gets the ball, and it's like the entire Pacers defense is basically back. He's like, he sees Neesmith, and he's like, fuck this, I'm taking it in. He drives in, tries some step through, it gets ripped away from him. We retain possession. But it was just like, who the fuck do you think you are, man? Who do you think you are right now? You are on the floor with Jalen Brunson. You are on the floor with Karl-Anthony Towns. Like, these are better offensive players than you. Understand your fucking role, dude. You are not Kawhi Leonard. I don't care how many times Masai Ujiri probably fucking implanted that shit into your head. You're not Kawhi Leonard. You're not Jason Tatum. Like, you're not one of these guys, one of these big wings that deserves or needs to be putting the ball on the deck and trying to create and shit. Get the fuck out of my face with that, man. Give me a break. I think he's been really, really moody throughout these playoffs, is what I would say. You can see it. There are games where you're like, oh, OG's not happy with something tonight. And then there are other games you're like, oh, OG's locked in. We're good. Tonight was a night where I don't know what the reason is. I couldn't tell you. I have no clue. But I thought from the jump in this game, he seemed too eager to, I don't know, try to leave his imprint on the game in some way. And boy, let me tell you, did he leave an imprint? One that we'll never forget.
We've talked about it before where, like, there are certain players and teams that he gets, like, really jazzed up for, right? And his former Raptors teammates are among them. And the Pacers are among them, right? Like, we always talk about OG as this, like, dispassionate kind of guy. But that's not actually true. That's just his face, right? Like, you actually know what matchups he gets up for. Former teammates and the teams he's faced in the playoffs before. Like the Pacers, which fulfill both requirements here. So it wasn't surprising to me that he was like, "Oh, I gotta get mine a little bit," versus these smaller defenders and stuff like that. But the problem is, like, Mikal, like on a post up, like he has a go-to shot. Like OG, you don't have a post up. Like you got to be very judicious here. Like if this is like a Brunsonless bench unit or something, then fucking fine if you must. But like again, when you're on the floor with Brunson, like and Cat is actually shooting because he's being defended by a center for once. Like you gotta just know time and place. And like to your point about OG, I want to say a stat that I think is illustrative of both OG and Hart's issues on offense in the playoffs, if you ask me. Looking at the Knicks drives drive stats in the playoffs. I don't think this accounts for today's game. Brunson, 18 drives a game, 54%. A lunatic. Amazing. Mikal Bridges, second, 8 drives a game, a little bit up from the regular season, 53%. He's hooping. As you might guess, doesn't really draw fouls ever. It only takes a free throw once every 3 drives. Cat is third, 6.2 drives per game on average, 47%. Fouled pretty often, scores pretty often. OG Anunoby, 6 drives a game, shooting 42%, which is really bad. Josh Hart, 3 drives a game. Guess what he's shooting on drives?
Josh Hart?
Yeah.
36%.
20%.
Yeah, it's not surprising to me. They're sitting on it. I mean, this is what they're sitting.
They're sitting on it, and it's been I think I talked about it on the last pod, but it's not. I wouldn't even put it like top 3 things on the Knicks issues in the playoffs on offense, but like when you think about those 2 stats together, in my opinion, the picture for the starting lineup, you don't need stats to know that the starting lineup has issues, right? You don't need analytics, you don't need any of that. But like, so you take OG, right? And like, sure, he's had some stretches, but on the whole, he's been inefficient, right? So OG has not been a positive offensive player on the whole in the playoffs. He's defending best players, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. That's all very fair. Josh Hart in the playoffs is not really giving you anything on offense because he's not giving you anything driving, and he's not spacing the floor, and he's shooting a good 3-point percentage, but he's not taking a lot of threes. So pretty much most of his value is coming from occasional transition buckets and occasional offensive rebounds, which are a very small percentage of the plays in the game. So boom, right there. That's 2/5 of your starting lineup that is essentially a negative on offense. So it's not like you can if you took any of the conference finals teams and removed any 2 of their players on offense and replaced them with poor offensive players, of course those lineups are going to struggle. It would be true for the Thunder, for the Wolves, it's true for the Pacers, it would be true for any team. You can't really overcome that. So like, is OG going to shoot that bad over a long sample? I don't know. Hopefully we have a longer sample for him to correct that shit, because we just gave away a fucking game in the conference finals. Is Josh going to, have a scoring explosion? I don't really think so. He's not going to be shooting the ball much with Towns and Brunson and Mikal playing really well on offense, or in Mikal's case, I mean, he's playing as good. I think he's like gotten better on offense as the playoffs gone on. So that's 3 guys hooping on offense. So like, if you're Tibbs, you got to really like, yes, the players got to be better. OG, you got to make decisions better, but like, you got to think about like why this is. And Tibbs is stubborn, but he ain't dumb. I promise you, like most of this data that we're talking about, he may not have all the same stats, but he knows the starters struggle. He knows that. He knows Josh Hart is not scoring. He knows that. He knows OG is currently inefficient. He knows that. But like, this is all really straightforward, right? Like, okay, you have 2 players in your starting lineup who are struggling on offense. Well, one of them has to defend all-stars. So that makes your decision easy if you have to choose one or the other. And, beyond that, like, there are times where you don't have to choose either of them, like you were saying, right? Especially when you're playing, like, this isn't Boston, right? They're not like 6'7" super good players. This is like TJ McConnell and Ben Shepherd and Thomas fucking Bryant, Wizards legend. Like, you're allowed to give guys breaks, mix and match, but like, you know, like we always talk about the playoffs.
And he does this. This is what's so fucking mind-boggling about this. The first 7 minutes of each half, he like has to play the starters for some reason. But then from like that point until about, I don't know, the 5-6 minute mark
He cooks
of the second and fourth quarters, it's like, oh wow, the Knicks are playing great. This is awesome. But then he has to go back to the starters for the most part. He closes with them, and it's like, I don't know what else to say. Like I don't think Tibbs is stupid. I think he's actually coached a pretty. I mean, not. I think he has coached. I mean, the Boston series is obviously his. That's his greatest work. But even within like stuff that I think he's done well in these playoffs in terms of defensive game planning, whatever. And I do think he's done a better job of mixing in more variation in his lineup.
Yeah, and we're talking, this is relative, right? Like,
right.
But like him compared to regular season Tibbs is night and day. Nobody's saying he's like prime Red Auerbach right now, but like he's coaching much better in the playoffs. Still a lot for him to do.
And it's but the point is, it's like you're just, there's no reason to play that lineup as much as you do. There's no reason for it to remain the starting lineup in the face of all evidence. And even if you want it to remain the starting lineup, there is no rule.
But not in the fourth.
There's also no rule that you can't be like, all right, we're gonna play them for like, maybe you don't want to bench somebody because it makes it look like you're singling them out. Fine, just fucking sub a guy out faster. Like, do you think anybody is gonna care, or nobody will even fucking notice or care if you sub out Josh Hart, like, or Mikal Bridges, or I don't give a shit who, 3 minutes into like each half? No one's gonna care. You know why they're not gonna care? Because you're probably going to be better at winning basketball games. That's why nobody's going to care. That's why. Because that's all that matters. Do you know why? I could sit here and tell you multiple things that in the Celtics series that I was like, man, this off-ball style, this offense is just brutal to watch sometimes. Do you know why it doesn't matter? Because they won the fucking series, man. That's why it doesn't matter. Because the results are ultimately the end of all of your decision making and your processes and whatever. And in large part, your processes were good against Boston. Your game plan was good against Boston. The only thing that was not good against Boston was your starting lineup, more or less. That's it. That starting lineup has been killing you. It killed you in the Boston series, which you were able to overcome, by the way. And then it killed you again tonight. Why do you want to die? Why do you want to die? Do you want to live? If you want to live, play the lineups that are good more. And stop playing the shitty fucking lineup that sucks and has sucked for basically, 5 months now? Like, stop playing that. Have a fucking ball game. Like, it is so crazy to me to watch it. And then you're watching, Carlisle on the other end just throw random fucking guys out there. I'm not even advocating for that. I don't even think that's necessarily smart. But, like, you are allowed, like, if fucking Rick Carlisle can look at Miles Turner and be like, yeah, I'm getting you off the floor here. I want to get Obi in, or fucking Thomas Bryant in. Tibbs can't do that. He can't look at Josh Hart or OG tonight and be like, hey, you don't got it. I'm closing with Deuce here. You really can't do that? Like, it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. All right. Prez, I know that you probably need to get out of here unless if you want to leave with some parting thoughts.
I don't have many more thoughts to share, dude. Like you said, it feels, I don't know, it feels silly to like, I can talk about, the Knicks discovered which schemes are optimal, and there's certain things that the Pacers did in the second half that they still didn't quite nail down. And there are things that are, they'll adjust in game 2, and they'll be for the better for sure, on both ends of the ball. But like, that is just such a terrible, like, it's crazy. It's just like, this guy hit 6 fucking threes in the fourth quarter, and Hallie hit basically a 3. And like, sure, some of that is like, you need to be fucking blessed by the power on high. But like, it just fucking sucks, man. Like, you eat less than a minute. What are they up like 8, 9, or some shit like that. Like
They were up. You got to close that game out. It's fucking absurd.
you got to close that shit out, and like it'll be really big. It's okay, I'll end with another cliche, I guess, before I peace out and attempt to fucking go to sleep. I'm gonna have to go fucking read a textbook or something, find the most boring thing possible. But like you need to like you need to just give yourself a chance to close it out. Like you can't assume anything in the playoffs, and like both the players and the coaches, right? Like we talked mostly about OG and Hart. Like even Brunson, like he had an amazing scoring game when he turned it on in the second half. Like it was great. There were still times he was just fucking dicking around trying to just like whatever in the middle of the game, and it ended up like 7 turnovers for him. Like there's blame to go around, and even with that, like you gotta just it'll be big to see. This is what I want to say. You gotta see how they respond. Like this is as big of a response game as bigger probably than game 6, right? Like after the Celtics, Tatum goes down, Celtics whoop our ass, hit a zillion threes, Derek White, whatever, different reasons, right? They just couldn't find Derek White, and they locked the fuck in and handled business in game 6. They have an opportunity to do that here. There's no reason, like with full seriousness, there's no reason they can't win the next game by 20. All it would take is like just not playing drop for a quarter and a half, pretty much going with the same rotations, except for the part where you decide to just like ignore offense, defense stuff at the end of the game. And if you do that, if you do those things, you're probably fine, right? Like this, it took the Knicks not making those adjustments, the Pacers starting off whatever 11 for 11, Nesmith hitting 6 out of 7 threes. So like I can give numbers as to why the Knicks should come back and blow the fucking socks off the Pacers, but like you can't assume anything, right? Like they have to actually do it. They have to find whatever within them like they did before and do it again. The good news, they did it once. It was a different kind of punch in the face that they came back from, but they have been punched in the face before, as stupid as it sounds. So, when is the next game? Friday? Jesus Christ, man. All right. Well, yeah, we'll see how they respond, man. It's gonna be a rough 48 hours. Y'all, we got 2,000 people here on the stream. Don't feel like you have to go on the internet tomorrow. Take some time. Go do some other shit, right? Like, if you want the film, the X's and O's, if you want the venting, the Strickland will have all of that for you. But, the Knicks they're gonna look at the film. They're gonna be absolutely disgusted with what they see on the film. And they're gonna have to do what they did versus Boston again, right? What you don't want is what Boston did, which is essentially chalking it up purely to luck and taking the same approach. And then Boston lost the first 2 games, right? That's what you want to avoid. So we'll see. Are we arrogant like the Celtics, or is it going to be the same well of resilience that they drew from to end the Celtics series? We'll see in a couple days.
Yep. All right. Gonna get some comments here. Prez, if you need to dip out, feel free. All right. Have a good night. Peace. Kid Kuro, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Great game from Brunson, Cat, and Mitch. Pacers have little answers for them, barring magnet ball bullshit. Hopefully, OG won't show up drunk to game 2. I understand the sentiment, and I don't think it's totally unfounded. What I will say is, I think, like, we're always going to look at it from a Knicks perspective, obviously, as Knicks fans. But I think if you're a Pacers fan, you might look at this game and be like, man, yeah, we won, but like, man, we could clean that up. That could be better. This could be better. We could do a better job of doing this thing, that thing. I don't think it's as simple as like the Knicks pissed away this game today. But the good thing to take away from it is, obviously they put themselves in that position, which is awesome. So if they just don't do insanely stupid shit, they'll be fine. Like, yeah, maybe that's true, but they're also going to make adjustments too. And honestly, like, look, let's just fucking say it. Like, this is the shit people said about Indiana last series against Cleveland too, right? It's like, oh, well, they won game 1, but they can't win game 2 too. And then it's like, oh, well, Cleveland wins game 3. All right, they're back. Everything's okay. Then they came out and fucking dropped 80 points or whatever in the first half. We're up by 41 at halftime. They were down big against fucking Cleveland in game 5. They came back and won. Like, this is what they do. They've done this multiple times in the playoffs where they're down big and they find some fucking crazy way to make a comeback. And yeah, that involves the other team helping them out with stupid decisions and bad shots and whatever. But this is like what they do. So, I totally appreciate the sentiment, and I think there is some logic to it. I just can't get to the point where I'm like, yeah, it's completely fine. But thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Sorry, I'm trying to get to some comments. I know we got a bunch to start. All right. Brandon Williams, maybe not have OG touch the ball down the stretch. Yeah, maybe. I would personally sign up for him to never be allowed to dribble the ball in the half court ever. I think that would be a pretty good start. Yeah, that would be where I go from it with it. Yeah. All right. Sorry, getting to some more comments here. Hayase Eel says, fucking coaching. He cannot read the game. This was certainly not his finest hour. Again, I'll always put the lion's share on a game like this. I always put the lion's share on the players. And you have missed free throws, inexplicable inability to catch the ball, not boxing out, whatever. But he also left those players on the floor. And this is a lineup that we've seen has not been good this season. Like, it's that simple. Like, they've just not been a good lineup this season. Certainly not for the last 5 months. They were not good against Boston. You were able to overcome that and win the series. They were terrible again tonight. Like, you're playing these elite teams. You're just giving them a margin. Like, as great as Game 6 was against Boston, if you go back and look at it, which I've done, I'm sure many of us have done that because it's a fun game to go back and rewatch. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. They didn't really get going until the starters were taken off the floor. Not all of them, obviously, because you can't, because we don't have depth like that. But once they started mixing in, Deuce and Mitch, that's when the game turned. And even in the second half, if you go back and watch it, the starters are largely kind of like just keeping the lead, maintaining the lead. And mind you, this is against the Celtics team without Jason Tatum, right? And, again, the mixed units, I guess is the best way to put it, the mixed lineups with starters and bench guys. That's the lineup that, again, was able to extend the lead a bit in the second half. I mean, it's just there. Like, it's obvious. It's a fact. And you can overcome it. But it'd be better to not have to. And, yeah, I don't know how to say that. John Leary, some poor box out too. Yeah, 100%. Mitch missed a box out on Obi in overtime. OG missed a box out on Pascal. There were several in the second half where they missed them. It's got to be better. It's got to be better. Sorry, going to this. Trying to get, again, sorry guys, I'm trying to get to as many comments as I can. Eshmaster, well, let's see what this team is really made of because any energy they had has been completely sapped. I think players and coaches generally don't operate the same way fans are. Like, I'm sure that, look, it's a gut shot they took tonight. There's no question. And, will they wilt and kind of go away? I mean, that hasn't been the case in this postseason. They've been resilient. They found ways to get back in this, take back control of series. But it's worth mentioning, this is the first time they are trailing a series. They didn't trail the series against Indiana last year until they lost Game 7. Until that, they were ahead the entire time. They never trailed the Sixers series. They never trailed the Cavs series they won in 2023. They didn't trail the Pistons series this year. They didn't trail the Celtics series this year. The ones that they lost to Miami in 2023, they lost Game 1 in that series. So we'll see how they respond. They haven't been behind in playoff series and come back to win them yet. It's not something they've done. Maybe that's a new thing they can do, but look, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm sitting here today and yeah, it feels bad. Doesn't feel good. Feel like they really let one go here in a series that I think is going to probably be tightly contested. It's a bad loss. Can come back to bite you. Yeah. AB, don't care what Brunson scored. He was next level terrible. Not sure I agree with that. I did think he was kind of sloppy at various points. But I also kind of think you're just going to live with that. And again, to me, it's really just that starting lineup, for whatever reason, it's not very good. And that seeps down into individual player performance at various stages. And yeah, look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you Brunson played some fucking absolute masterclass of a game. I didn't think so. I think he was really good scoring the ball. I think that he did make some really nice reads. But yeah, he had some sloppy turnovers for sure. And yeah, there were definitely some meandering possessions. But yeah, you score 125 in regulation. Like, you're up however much they were up at one point, 15, 16 points. Like, you got to win the game. Just got to win the game. Knicks is Biz. I'm not sure how exactly to pronounce this, but Mitch didn't play long enough. Yeah, I think that's probably true, but I also think there's I still think the conditioning thing with him is real. I don't know if he's on a minutes limit. I don't think he is, but I do think that you can see, and I think you can see his energy wane after a certain point in time when he's on the floor. And I also think I think that Tibbs is trying to manage that so that he can use him more in the second half if necessary. But yeah, I mean, he didn't play enough. I get it. I think there are reasons for it, but to your point, it's like, all right, look, like, what are you saving the minutes for there, right? Just play him more in the second half then or something. Ace Bouchard, not really sure what Mitch was doing on the last defense play. I don't think he does either. So there's that. Omar Yusuf, my heart hurts. Yep. Can't deny that. Retro, Hart and OG, pathetic. I couldn't say. I think that's maybe even being kind to them in some ways. H22, man, Hart slipping off the ball once again. Yep, he was pretty terrible. H22, I'm so sorry that was a terrible missed call from the refs on that goaltend, man. It's a missed call. I get it. It sucks. It sucks because they came back and immediately made a 3, but just what you shouldn't have even been in that position. This is what you shouldn't have been in that position. And if you're gonna, if you let refs are gonna miss calls. Sorry, that's just reality. And it's very hard for me to be upset about officiating this game when the Knicks shot 40 fucking free throws. Yeah, sure, you can take out 4 of those if you want because they're intentional fouls on OG and Cat. But they took 40 fucking free throws tonight and they lost the game. They took more free throws than Indiana. I can't sit here and blame the officials. And certainly not after the way the Knicks lost that game. John Larry, there's a quote from Tibbs. You can never let your guard down against them. No lead is safe. No fucking shit, dude. And again, I'll say it again. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say Tibbs was the main culprit of this game, but maybe a harsher critic could easily say that. And quite honestly, if you want to talk about you can never let your guard down, yeah, coach like it then. Play your best lineups. I don't know. That's it. Retro, OG was fucking bummed. This motherfucker is the highest paid Knick of all time. Are we not going to go to the finals because of this guy? Maybe not. I don't know what the hell is going on with him tonight, man. I thought he was terrible again. He was. That was a disgraceful performance for him. Yeah. I was surprised they kept leaving me open. Aaron Neesmith on a 6 threes in the fourth. So was I, man. Good for you. Zoning permit. OG can't catch a pass to save his life. Fucking grab it. I agree. Josh, I think the most infuriating was the non-box out on Siakam, I believe, in the fourth or overtime. I cannot even remember. My brain is fuming. That was an overtime, and it was ridiculous. He literally just stopped. I don't know. OG he just stood there. That's it. He just stood there. Watched Siakam go get the offensive rebound. He was in perfect position to go blocks him out. He didn't. It's crazy. Thibodeau on Neesmith's 5 quarter 4 threes. He got too much airspace, and some of it is transition, some of it is coming off pin down, some of it communication. I want to take a look at the film. I know what it was, man. But I understand you can't blame OG or Hart publicly anyway. Brandon Williams, Neesmith is probably their best shooter outside of Halliburton. Not going to read what you actually wrote. I don't understand how they kept leaving it open. What's with Josh Hart slipping everywhere? I don't know what the hell was up with Josh Hart slipping everywhere. But yeah, the Neesmith thing is just, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, yeah, is he going to shoot 89 every night? No, he's not. No matter how fucking open it is, he's not. But why are you leaving him open? He's literally their best shooter other than Halliburton, to your point. And he's shooting well. His percentage went up now. He was shooting like 48% on threes coming into this game in the playoffs. Now it's, God knows what the hell it is now. Fucking 60%, 67% or something. Yep. Also, zoning permit. Also, Mitch was diabolical in overtime. I agree, and I think that's why I just thought he looked gassed. And it's what it is. I don't know what else to say. Bhaskar Sankara says, thank you guys for being able to articulate mostly coherent thoughts about this game. It's such a horrific loss, and OG is the prime culprit. I cannot disagree. He also says, guys, this is horrific. You're totally right to zero in on OG too, but if you want a silver lining, remember how bad the Maxey game felt. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what came to mind. The only thing is you're up 3-2 still in that series. So yeah, they've shown the ability to bounce back, and there's no question that they've shown that. But man, you fucking lose games like that, you're really playing with fire. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. Ace Bouchard, Mikal was the only member of Wingstop that decided to show up. I agree. Sorry. Omar Yusuf, they got fucking cocky after going up 17. They played like Boston game 1, just taking early shot clock threes and trying to make highlight plays. Felt like that a little bit. Can't deny it. This is from Jordan Bubpost. This is from ESPN or Elias Sports. Brutal. Teams that trail by 9+ in the final minute of the fourth quarter overtime of a playoff game are 0 for 1,414 since 1998 entering Wednesday. Now they're 1 and 1,414. Awesome. Great stuff. Making history. Ace Bouchard, the slow-mo of Josh Hart going, oh no, in the back cut was pretty funny though. Yeah. Josh, the thing with Hart that actually pisses me off is he has talked about repeatedly how winning teams, everyone has to sacrifice. What exactly does this guy sacrifice? Does not matter if he's playing well or bad. If he's in foul trouble, he's playing most minutes. I don't think that's unfair. Josh Hart, does he sacrifice on the floor? Sure. Yeah. He puts his body in the line and blah, blah, blah. We get all that. But when you talk about sacrifice, he doesn't really sacrifice because, to your point, you're right, he never comes off the floor. If he's healthy, he never comes off the floor. He never sees his minutes cut. He's never held accountable for his mistakes in the form of, oh, you're not playing well, you're going to sit now. And it's been this way now for a long time. And I because this game is so ridiculous, but I thought defensively from him today, again, it's the same shit we saw against the Pacers last year. Stop fucking jumping in every closeout. You just flybys constantly with this guy. Stay on your fucking feet. Stay on your feet. He was so sloppy today with his closeouts again. I just don't know what to say about it. It's like it's what he is as a player. This is just part of him. Expecting him to clean that up now all of a sudden doesn't make sense. Which is exactly and precisely why when he's playing bad, it's okay to just not close with him. It's fine. It's perfectly okay to take him off the floor. Omar Yusuf, OG push off offensive foul with 5:36 left after Cat got a putback to put us back up by 14 with 4 minutes to go. OG breaks towards Halliday to try to get a steal, fouls him when they're in the bonus. Yeah, I did not like that play. And yeah. Ace Bouchard, ultimately, I don't think they wasted Brunson or Cat's games because I think they'll have a nice series, but I do think they wasted a great bench game. No, there's no question. You have your 2 stars play well, your bench has an impact, you got to win that game. It's brutal to win that, to lose that game. Retro, we were on the Celtics the last series. Yeah, look, that's what happened. They fucking pissed this game away. They choked it, and they deserve all the criticism they're going to get. Josh Melnick says, to me, I read the lax defense around threes down the stretch as being overly cautious around not fouling on threes. I might like that. That could be part of it, but here's the thing that I just can't understand. Go back and watch the Nesmith threes. Like, they're not even close to him. They're not even close. So it's like, I mean, yeah, if the focus here is like, hey, look, we don't want to foul here, so just make sure you get a decent contestant, but don't go too crazy. That's fine, but you actually have to get a decent contestant, at least be in the fucking area code, and they weren't. The 2 here where OG's just standing 5 feet off them, I can't understand it. I'll never understand it. Yes, Brunson was -7. Brunson hero ball bullshit. Look, man, if you're gonna tell me the Brunson hero balls were lost in the game, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. It's just not what happened. And I'll call Brunson out for when he does stupid hero ball shit, but this was not that. And that -7 is literally because of all of his minutes came with starters, which is a bad lineup, and that lineup continues to be bad. And it's really that simple. That's it. Like, it's bad because that lineup is not good, right? I mean, look at if you just look at the box score here. Brunson -8, OG and an OB -12, Bridges -15, Hart -4, Cat +9, Campaign +5, Deuce +12, Mitch neutral. Mostly this just tells me that the starting lineup isn't good, and the guys on the starting lineup that play more with the bench benefit from that. That's what that tells me. And that's what I've thought all year. And it's what I've thought all playoffs. And it's what I'll continue to think. Because it's not what I think, it's what I fucking know. Charles Sacchetti, they hand check and deck Brunson the entire time. That's their strategy. The point offense runs better with him off the floor, which is absurd. Yeah, I don't know if I would say the offense ran better. I thought they did a good enough job. The defense was great. They were able to get some easy buckets as a result of that. But I still think in the half court, you can see some of the issues. Not some, you just see the issues. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. Charles Sacchetti also says 7-game series are the better team tonight. Indiana got lucky. Knicks melted tonight. But hey, the road to a championship is not easy. It's not. That's the hope. But can't deny that this happened. Okay, all right. Looked like we were playing not to lose. We got to make sure we don't make that mistake again. Josh Hart, fuck off, man. Just shut up. Give me a break. Like, it would be nice for him to just be like, I fucking sucked. I played like shit. Yeah. Ex Machina Man. We need a secondary ball handler, playmaker. This long teams time and time again give Brunson problems. 7 turnovers for Brunson. I don't know that his turnovers had much to do with the length. I think his turnovers had to do where they sent pressure and he wasn't prepared for it and made sloppy plays. I also don't know how you can look at a game where he scored 43 on 15 of 25 shooting and say that, like, again, yeah, to your point, 7 turnovers is bad. 100%. So not claiming he played a perfect game, but to say that they gave him tons of issues because of their length, I just don't see that. I don't see it. I don't think that's really what happened. Jordan Bubb, Knicks didn't play their best game for full 48 minutes. God knows they didn't play their best defensive game with collapse and all the fuckery that happened in this game. They lost by 3. Yep, that's the hope. That is the hope. Retro says OG continues to play the game as a stick up of his ass. You're not lying. You're not lying. Anashe Mapuranga, this team took their feet off the pedal after going on that run. They acted like there was 30 seconds left and not a whole 5 after it. Yeah, so I tweeted what I did. I was like, yeah, you just don't fuck around here. This team has made a lot of crazy comebacks, and that's exactly what they did again. You cannot fall asleep on this team. I don't know. I can't believe how many teams continue to fail to understand this. This is literally Indiana's entire thing. Retro, you can't win at the highest level with Josh Hart. I think you can win at the highest level with Josh Hart, but I also think that entails cutting Josh Hart's minutes when he's playing like a moron, which did not happen. Cat, give it on offense and take it on defense. Yeah, look, he had a terrible start defensively to this game. I think he definitely was challenged at various points, but I also thought he made some good defensive plays. And I thought he was okay. I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's some fucking dominant force or something on defense, but it's hard for me to blame the guy that put up 35 and 12 and was a +9 in his 39 minutes tonight, which means they were outscored by 12 in the 9 minutes he wasn't on the floor, which doesn't seem great. But yeah. 822. Yep. OG keeps getting away from the slander. He deserves all of it tonight, man. I'll tell you that. Yes. Prashanta Adhikari, being a Tottenham fan somehow keeping me from ending it all tonight, shaking my head. Well, tell you what, I'm a United fan, so can't say I feel the same way. But congrats to you. Genuinely. OG cooked during free agency, LOL, 40+ million for a guy with no offensive bag and not top 5 defender. Yeah, I think that's doing a little bit too much. That's from Rick James. He had a terrible game, and he's not had a good postseason, or not a great postseason anyway. But I don't think the contract is much of an issue here. Andre Dreyer, someone needs to tell OG he ain't no damn dribbler, catch and shoot and cut, dude. Dribbles like Stanley from The Office. Somebody's got to have a conversation with him. Yeah. Neo Schmidt, isn't OG shooting 28% from the corners with the most attempts in the playoffs? Yes, something awful like that. He is shooting, coming into tonight anyway. I'll tell you right now. This is per Basketball Reference. Once I can actually get the fucking number here, I'll tell you it. He's shooting in the playoffs 28.9% from the corners. He's taking 47.5% of his threes from the corners. So I'll do some quick math here. He's taken 83s total. So that means he's taken 38 from the corners. If you multiply that times, let's do it. This is really fun, guys. He's 11 of 38, something like that, from the corners coming into tonight. So, yeah. It's been brutal. He's been brutal. I can't believe we lost. If this team doesn't turn around, this is all they'll ever be known for, Brunson included. OG's a choke artist, so I don't really expect him to do anything. I don't know what the hell to say about OG. And I get it. If this is all you'd remember this team for, I mean, I understand why other fans of other teams would, whatever, national media. But I certainly would probably remember them for more than this. But it's a terrible loss, man. It's a horrible loss. Just no way to deny that. That's right. I don't want to watch basketball again unless we win every game in writing. That would be nice. Zoning permit. Honestly, wish it had been a lot easier to swallow if this was a blowout. It's kind of losses taint franchise for years. This is one that is brutal, man. There's no way to deny that. You have to find a way to get over it, overcome it. You have to win game 2. Obviously, that becomes a must-win now, but you have to win game 2. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have to win game 2. Yeah. ZMR 33. JB got abused defensively as much as Cat was abused defensively. I don't really care about that. Not in the sense that it doesn't matter, but to me, you just have to accept that that's kind of part of what's going to happen when you have those guys. It's like, hey, Brunson abused Halliburton a few times. These are just limitations you have to work around and accept to some degree. You can live with that, especially on a night where they give you 78 points combined on super efficient shooting. What you can't live with is the stuff from other guys. You can't have OG and Josh Hart just giving you. I would be wrong to say they gave you nothing defensively, but actively hurting you defensively. You can't have that. I just don't know what to say. Ziggy Small, it's like that Spurs game. Mamu hit 7 threes. That was a ridiculous game. Vik Dadanya says, seems like we've taken our foot off the gas far too many times this season. Wonder what's the culprit for that. I don't think, I understand the sentiment that they took their foot off the gas. And I don't deny that that's part of it. But to me, you can draw a fucking direct line between starters coming in, lead disappearing. That's it. It's a bad lineup. We can sit here and talk about the intangible stuff of did they take their foot off the gas or the mental focus and whatnot? And that's all fine and good. And yeah, they didn't execute. The lineup isn't good. Why you're closing with your literal worst lineup? It is their worst lineup of all the lineups they have that they can come up with with their 7.5 man rotation, I guess. I don't know what to say other than that. I feel like it's Groundhog Day. I just fucking have been saying this for fucking months at this point. And it's not a mystery. I think everybody knows that. Everybody acknowledges it. But yeah. This team was taking their foot off the gas like it was a 15-point game with 30 seconds left and not 5 minutes left. It was an absolute choke. Yep. It's from Anashe Maparanga. He also says, someone needs to tell OG shouldn't be allowed to dribble ever again. He dribbles like a third grader. Yeah. Honda 184. Why won't Tibbs just change the lineup? What's so hard about that? I think that I'm not saying this is right or wrong. I'm just saying what I think. What I think is Tibbs clearly feels a loyalty to a lot of these guys. Josh Hart, very specifically, for sure. I think these guys have pride, obviously, right? They have egos and whatnot. He's played the starting 5 all year. This has been his starting 5 since day one. This is what he feels is their best lineup, maybe. I don't know. I think he might feel like if he benches somebody or moves somebody to the bench, it's singling them out. I think all those reasons are stupid. I don't think any of those reasons are particularly good to continue to start the starting lineup. And if you are going to start the starting lineup, just do the token starter thing. Just do the token. And it's not like I'm saying, take Josh Hart and never put him back in or something. Or take OG and never put him back in. No, not saying that. But just do the token starter thing. Take them out early, and then mix them back in. Because basically every other lineup, then the fucking starting 5 is good. That's all I can say. Anashim Aparanga, OG defense because Neesmith was like when Oda Porter's controller died and wasn't moving at the end of the game. I don't know. Yeah, it's just wild to me. Isaiah, I'm just lost on how he just goes back to the worst lineup consistently when he sees the other lineups clearly work better. Like, I know he sees this. I have no words. I don't know what to say. Like, he must know it. I'm assuming he knows it. He clearly will have access to things like net rating, which are not hard to come by, and I'm sure that they have their own proprietary stuff that's even better than just simply looking at net rating. The data's there. I'm sure he knows it. Is he going to do anything different? I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I doubt it, but maybe. That's what it is. Jordan Bub, you have to take disappointment and turn that to more determination. Coach Tom Thibodeau on the Knicks looking to rebound in Game 2 on Friday at the Garden. Zoning promo, would you contemplate trading Hart away if and when they lose the series? I think everybody in this roster is expendable other than Brunson to some degree. That's not to say I'm going to actively start shopping everybody on the team. No. But I think there are scenarios where you should consider. There are scenarios where I'd consider trading everyone other than Brunson. Every single guy. And yeah, I don't know. It's what I like. I'm not actively interested in trading him. What I will say is, and I'll continue to believe this, the lineups that are good with this team, there are plenty of them, that should inform all of your future personnel decision making around this core of players, with this core of players. And I think it's very obvious. I don't give a shit who's coaching this team next year. I'm assuming it's going to be Tibbs. I don't think there's any world where they fire him, having made the conference finals, regardless of the result of the series. Maybe if they blow a couple more games like this, maybe that changes. I think that's such a long shot. I don't think it's even worth thinking on. But yeah, this can't be the starting five next year. It just can't. I'm sorry. Like, this is not the best version of this team. This is not the best 5-man lineup they can put out there. It does not get the best out of Jalen Brunson. It does not get the best out of Karl Anthony Towns. It does not get the best out of basically many of these guys. It's a lesser, like, they are less than the sum of their parts. That starting five is less than the sum of their parts, and basically every other lineup they put out there is more than the sum of their parts. So, yeah. M. Perez saying Hart disaster class is both clickbait and rage bait at the same time. I don't know if it's clickbait, because I think he was pretty awful, but could be rage bait. I'm not really trying to rage bait you though, man. Trust me. I'm not. I think we're all plenty angry without needing bait to fire anybody up. Omar Yusuf, Knicks have never won a playoff series losing game 1 at home. Awesome. I think that's a really positive piece of news, and very excited for what that portends. Zoning permit, he gets in a pissing contest with the Pacers. That's what they want him to do. I'm assuming this is about Josh Hart. He was not there tonight. Yeah. Hayase Eel, this team needs to show Halle Booty the respect he shows them, which is not at all. Treat him like the enemy. I don't know. That's just not how this team operates. They just don't operate that way, and I don't think you want them to start trying to be something they're not. End of the day, none of that matters. Win the fucking game. You can win the game prancing around. You can win the game any number of ways. Just win the games. On Hashim Aparanga, OG might have had a greater double agent performance than anything Tingus Pingus did last series. Hey, you know what? Maybe, because when KP was playing like shit, Missoula just pulled him from the floor, took him out of the rotation, didn't play him in second halves of games. Obviously, you can't do that with OG given some of the depth issues we have, but good God, was that awful. Just a really pathetic performance from him tonight. Zachary Kaliman, I can't believe Deuce didn't play at all in OT. I can. Not because I agree with it, but because that's entirely predictable to me. Retro, Hart doesn't sacrifice shit. He has the ball in his hands more than anyone of his caliber should. Don't disagree. OG literally lost us this game. Yep, I think that is fairly accurate. AOG 34, you know how I called how this game is going to go. We still win in 7. I hope so. That would be great. Jordan Bubb, who do you put in the starting lineup and does Tibbs have the balls to do it? He's not going to do it. I don't think it's happening. If it hasn't happened to this point yet, I'm just not going to bet on it happening. Personally, I would probably start Deuce. I think Hart and Mitch play really well together. I think they accentuate each other's strengths as offensive rebounders. So I'd like to kind of prioritize playing them together off the bench if that was an option. I think Deuce is a really good screener for Brunson. He's also a good spacer, which we know. I think his point of attack defense helps that lineup a ton. And man, I just can't believe we lost this game because God, that block by Deuce on Siakam was fucking nuts, man. That was such a hell of a play, and no one's gonna remember, and I understand why. Isaiah, Rick Carlos throwing shit at the wall late in the game, so with some observation, just hope it doesn't make any drastic changes. Yeah. Omar Yusuf, Hart really said we played not to lose. LOL. All those hero ball sequences, dumb late shot clock fouls were out of conservatism. I forgot that foul yet on Siakam. That was so fucking stupid, man. Oh my God. You don't need to push him. It's just such a stupid game from Josh Hart tonight, man. Just such a stupid game. Yeah. Kevin Pierre, what makes this worse? That stupid pic of Hallie is going to be floating all over the internet. God, I hate this Pacers team. Can't deny that. Sorry. Kevin Pierre, I'm going to stay off the net till the next game. I just really want to forget about this and pray we split home court. Man, that would be nice. ZMR33. So what caused the lineup change? Does Deuce start over Hart? Nothing is going to cause a lineup change as far as I'm concerned because it hasn't happened yet. If it was going to happen, you would literally the starting lineup was bad for like 3 months in the regular season. It didn't change. They were okay against Detroit. They were flat out awful against Boston. Didn't change. I don't think it's not changing. So, yeah. Zachary Common. Deuce played one possession overtime. Yeah, he played that defense possession, right? Yeah. I actually thought after Cat's first stint in the first quarter, his defense was much better. I agreed with that. I did not think Cat's defense for most of this game was the main issue or the issue or whatever you want to say. I thought it was really OG and Hart for the most part. NBA Mix Can. Wingstop let us down this game. Just no communication on screens. Too many defensive mistakes and missed free throws killed us. Yeah, I thought McCall competed. He had a couple blocks, on Nemhard from behind. I just thought he battled. Was he perfect? No. Did he do a better job getting over screens? Yes. Does he need to make sure that he's very, very purposeful about, not letting Hallie get to his right? Yes. But you can live with the effort he gave you tonight. Not perfect, not great. Wish he was more efficient. Wish he could make a fucking 3 at some point or hit them consistently. But you would take the game he gave from you tonight and you wouldn't be like, oh, he was terrible. I think he was fine. But the other two guys, I mean, they weren't just bad. They were fucking disastrous. And they got away with it for a lot of this game, but they got what they deserved down the stretch of that game. Both of them. They were fucking awful. Anything after those diabolical ball screen defenses on Neesmith does not matter. Allowing low contested or decent contested drives wins you this game. OT doesn't matter at all. I agree. All you have to do is force them to put the ball in the deck and get to the rim. Retro, Leon Rose should stop enabling Tibbs. Well, I got news for you. I don't think Tibbs is going anywhere, and he will be here next year, so that's that. Constantine Metricos. Great postgame. Schwinn really saved me from blowing my head off into a million pieces on the clear view. Not being sarcastic. Thanks. I think I still might. blow my head off into a million pieces. Maybe what does Tibbs even do? How are they not prepared in every situation where they only lose by giving up threes? I don't know. It's been ridiculous for me for years. It's one of my main criticisms of Tibbs, where I just find this end of game defensive strategy so weird. Where it's like you give up, they give up threes constantly at the end of games that make no sense. And it's weird because they're one of the best teams in the league in terms of just restricting 3-point attempts. Like, they don't give up a lot of threes. So for most of the games, they're good at that. But this happens consistently at the end of games. So they just start giving up threes. It's very, very frustrating. Zmar33 says how game 2 goes may very well determine the rest of the series and possibly what changes in the offseason. Also, we brought an OG to get us over the top, and he's been up and down at best in these playoffs. OG was flat out terrible tonight. I agree he's been up and down in these playoffs. I still think the record with him and just generally, he's obviously a very positively impactful player for them. But, you know, I said it after 3 quarters, and I'll say it again. They are not going to win this series if he plays like he did tonight. It's just no way. Leave aside Josh Hart. If OG plays like that, they will not win this series. They won't. He's got to be better than that. You can't not make shots, make stupid decisions on offense, fumble loose balls away, and get fried on defense. Like, that's just not good across the board. Across the board, it's not good. Retro, Amari would punch a fire extinguisher after a loss like that. Yeah, he might. LN111112. I get how bad the starting lineup has been, but I really think we still have to expect enough defensive acumen from OG on screens. Neesmith came off of, but we didn't see it. Cat and Hart too, but OG is better than them. I agree. I mean, that's why I'm like, you know, you want to blame Tibbs, fine, go for it. But to me, the biggest thing is OG. Like, he just played like shit tonight, and Hart was close behind him. Like, they just need to be better. Like, the macro kind of issue of the starting lineup being bad is its own thing. But they should not be as bad. I mean, they're not as bad as they played tonight, right? Like, they generally are better than having a fucking minus 50 net rating, or the hell it was tonight. Just a normal bad game from them. A normal bad stretch to close the game still wins them the game comfortably. So you got to put it on the players, to me, more than anything. But yeah, you want to give a tip of the cap to Tibbs for allowing that to happen? Go for it. Go for it. I mean, everybody deserves criticism after a night like tonight. Kevin Pierre, Cap needs to learn that other guys can bring up the ball. It just puts our entire offense in quicksand runs over there when he's playing bumper cars. Yeah, I thought they did a good job of that at various points, having Hart bring it up or whatever. But yeah, I agree. He needs to be more consistent. They were having Hart inbound a lot, and then Brunson was like the only guy showing consistently in the backcourt. I don't really get that. It's weird. I think you always got to have multiple guys back there, especially when they're defending him. And yeah, I don't know. CMR33, Knicks will never get another opportunities again, so they can't afford to let this thing spiral. Playing this game wakes everyone up, and OG and Hart cut the bullshit. We win in 5. This is the thing that I will say, and I'll close with this. It's pretty late, and I'm tired, and I want to go to sleep and forget, at least while I'm sleeping, that this happened. This team has been very up and down all season. Every time you think that they're locked in and dialed in, then they let a game slip that they shouldn't have lost, or they have a bad stretch, or whatever. It's been the case all year. You know, think about it. They won games 2, 3, and 4 in Detroit. And you're thinking, okay, game 5, come home, take care of business. And they started off the first half of that game bad, and they started off the second half of that game poorly, put themselves in holes that they dig themselves out of, and they couldn't dig themselves out of it in the second half. You know, they come home against Boston after miraculously winning 2 in a row there in games 1 and 2. They drop an egg in game 3. You know, the defensive game plan is not executed well. They're all over the place. You know, that they take care of business in game 4, great win. Game 5 in Boston, they again come out and lay an egg, right? They close tie game at halftime, and then second half is just a disaster. The defense falls apart where you're like, what the hell's going on? I know the whistle sucked in that game. That was weird, but they've not, like, for better or worse, they're capable of losing games like this, obviously. And then they're capable of bouncing back and finding ways to turn things around. But, do I think that we'll never see a bullshit from OG and Hart or whoever the fuck again and everything will be executed to a T? No, I don't think that, because it's just not been how they play. It's not how they do it. That's been a problem all year. So, look, you could have survived this game if Halliburton shot, right, hits the back heel, bounces up 50 feet, drops back in. But, like, I don't even think it's bad luck, because bad luck is bad luck because you allowed the game to get to that situation when it never should have been in that situation. It never should have been in that situation. And when you fuck around and you don't take care of business, you don't close things out when you should, and you stupid turnovers, bad shots, whatever, sloppy defense. When you do all those things, you might get burned. Because you're playing good teams, and they're gonna make shots and they're gonna challenge you. So, yeah, look, the Knicks pissed this game away. Is all you can say. Tip your cap to Indiana, but you can tip your cap as much as you want. When you're up the way the Knicks were, you should never lose that game. Now, I see the Leafs better be short on Tibbs next season if they lose the series. Yeah, well, we'll end with that. I have no thoughts on that right now. I'm not trying to think about next season. I get the sentiment. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Maybe we win the series. We don't have to worry about it, at least not for now. But, I'm not gonna kill anybody that feels that way or is thinking about that right now. I get it. Frustrating loss, terrible loss. One of the worst in franchise history for sure. Maybe the worst in franchise history. So, all right. I'm going to knock out here, guys. Appreciate all the comments. I know that we all needed to commiserate after that one. So, we'll be back after game 2 on Friday. Hopefully the Knicks bounce back and win. That's at 7:30. I don't know. Whatever fucking time that game is. Who cares? So we'll see how they bounce back. Yeah, that's it. Me and Prez are going to record the pod tomorrow. I don't know what the hell we're going to talk about. Maybe we can talk about not this game. That would be a good idea. All right. Again, thank you to everybody for the comments. Thank you for the super chats. Appreciate it. That is the rundown for today. Peace.